Hey everyone, how's it going? My name is Cameron, and this is a video I've been looking forward to making for quite a while. In today's video, I'm finally going to announce to you guys the full-time role that I recently accepted for after I graduate from the University of Florida this spring. I cannot be more excited to make this video. You guys have seen countless videos in the past about me talking about my internship experience and my application process for internships and jobs and everything in between. So you guys have certainly seen the work that's gone into getting to where I am today. You guys also have joined me on this journey. It's been so great to get those LinkedIn messages from each of you guys thanking me for making these videos, but really I need to thank you guys for creating this community for me, building my network, and just making it feel like so much more than me just talking to my phone. With that being said, I think we can just go straight into it and I can announce the job that I have accepted. I will be joining KPMG in New York City as an advisory associate. The group that I will be joining is the Financial Services, Regulatory, and Compliance team within the banking sector. I know that's definitely a mouthful, and I myself too am kind of still learning exactly what the role entails. You also might be aware that this is a consulting role, and for the longest time I was always talking about roles in banking or investment banking and asset management, something more in that realm. And obviously that is not the role that I ended up accepting. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly why I decided to accept this role over some other offers that I got, and really just explain to you guys why I am so excited for what is ahead. It still is pretty surreal for me to wrap my head around the fact that I will be a consultant for a Big Four firm. This is not a position that I ever imagined myself being in probably a year ago, especially several years ago. If you're wondering what the Financial Services Regulatory and Compliance Group does, then you're not alone. I actually got this quote from their website, and it says that this group supports financial institutions in delivering practical and cost-effective approaches to meet compliance demands. Now, obviously, I am no expert in banking laws and regulations. They obviously expect you to learn pretty much everything on the job, but regardless, I do think my experience this last summer working in the treasury group of Regions Bank kind of did at least introduce me to some of those strict regulations that are enforced on banks. I certainly am looking forward to just learning so much in this role. Like pretty much all entry-level positions, the first few years are really just all about you being a sponge and soaking up as much information as possible. So I am so thrilled to be working for an amazing company like KPMG in the city of my dreams, New York City, in a role that I know will challenge me and will require me to continuously improve how I solve problems and how I see the world. So I've written down a few things here that discuss why I chose this role over some other offers that I got. The first is something I just mentioned, and that is the fact that it is in New York City. For the last few years, New York City has been my absolute dream. Going to school at the University of Florida, New York isn't necessarily a hub for Gator graduates. Companies based in New York City aren't necessarily recruiting. At UF, there certainly are opportunities, but they're pretty hard to come by. After I visited New York my freshman year of college, I realized just how big the city was and how everyone there really is just working towards something, and I think that is just something I wanted to be a part of. I know there's the classic quotes and cliches about New York and how if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. And so I certainly have a sense of pride knowing that I'm going to work in New York City. It still feels surreal to say, just because it was certainly a dream and a goal of mine, but I never really saw it happening. Just because most of the roles and jobs that I had applied for weren't necessarily located in New York City. Some of the biggest hubs for UF are Atlanta and Charlotte, which are certainly amazing cities, but they're not New York. Also, one of my best friends also accepted a position in New York City, so it is really cool to be joining him there in the city. On the screen now, you can see the building that I will be working in, 345 Park Ave in New York City. This building is KPMG's US headquarters, so it is definitely where the action happens. This brings me to the second point, and that is that KPMG is an amazing company that is known worldwide. Some of the other offers I had were still with great companies that had awesome reputations, but they weren't quite at the level that KPMG is. Also, just through the interview process and talking to other UF alums, it was pretty easy to see that KPMG really seems to care about their employees. I mean, even when I got the initial job offer, I actually got a $50 Uber Eats gift card just for getting the offer. I didn't get anything like that from the other two offers that I got that week, and so that gesture really went a long way. So anytime you're working for a great company, that not only means that your time with that company is going to be phenomenal, but it also means your time after. And that was another really attractive part of this role, and that is the exit opportunities. Now, no, I don't have any current plans of, oh, I want to do this, then that, but I just understand that the way the world works, you always have to be ready for what's next. And I think, again, working for an amazing company like KPMG, especially in a consultant role, working with banks, it really will just provide so many opportunities for me down the road, whether I decide to stay with KPMG or go elsewhere. On a similar note, through KPMG, I'm sure it will open me up to a lot of connections for graduate schools. You guys on this channel know I've talked a lot about my interest in a JD MBA combined degree program. I 100% do see myself going on to graduate school a few years down the road, and I know that working for a global company like KPMG will certainly introduce me to people that have connections at these schools and programs that can really help me through that whole application process. Realistically, my goal for graduate school is to attend one of the M7 business schools, and I think that working for KPMG in New York City will give me the best chance to get to that level. And finally, the last reason that I chose this role is the work-life balance. Again, through the conversations I've had with people in this group and similar groups, is that they mentioned that they still have time to live other aspects of their life. As you guys are aware through this video, I have a pretty big side hustle that I have going on in my life. I certainly plan on continuing to make these YouTube videos, so working a job that will provide me at least a few hours every week to make a video is certainly a very attractive aspect for me. Also, living in New York City will provide so many new opportunities for me and this YouTube channel. I think it would be really cool to kind of meet some other creators, and just living in New York, I feel will fuel my creative juices. Maybe my videos will start to look a little bit more like Casey Neistat's. I guess we'll see. So those were the main reasons that I decided to take this job. As I alluded to before, it was a very hectic week when I got this offer. I actually had 2 other pending offers. One of them was in Atlanta and the other was in Los Angeles, California. Surprisingly, this role with KPMG was not the highest paying offer. I did get an investment banking offer from Truist in Atlanta, and that offer certainly did require me to consider the pros and cons of these 2 jobs. But at the end of the day, I realized this role with KPMG in New York City was what I wanted to do. I felt that just accepting a role for the money wasn't necessarily the smartest play in the long run. Since making this decision a few weeks ago, I've had just even more clarity that I made the right choice. Obviously, I haven't started the role yet. I actually begin July 21st, 2022. But through the support I've gotten through family, friends, and fellow people going through this process, I just know in my heart that I'm making the right decision, and I couldn't be more excited to start this next chapter of my life. So that wraps up the video. I had to throw this on right at the end. But really, again, I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video and for watching all my videos over the last months and years. I certainly would not be in the position I'm in today if it weren't for you. And funny enough, in both of my interviews for KPMG, I mentioned my YouTube channel. So I certainly have you guys to thank in more ways than one. As always, if you guys have any questions at all, you can reach out to me on Instagram right here at Galbraith. I certainly plan on making more videos about how I got to this position and a lot of other related things. So stay tuned for those. But with all this being said, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.